War for the Planet of the Apes is directed by Matt Reeves, the same guy who brought us Dawn of the Planet of the Apes from 2014, and this is the concluding chapter in this new trilogy of Apes movies. We've seen the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, we've seen the Dawn, and now this is War. And this movie takes place 5 years after Dawn, when the simian flu virus has completely taken over the world, and there's a very small amount of humans left on the Earth. As the war rages on, Caesar leads a group of apes in a battalion to save his own kind. And the fate of this war will determine their species and the future of the planet. Also along the way, we follow Caesar on his path to revenge against the Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson. These new Planet of the Apes movies have completely surprised the hell out of me. I thought Rise of the Planet of the Apes was going to be really bad, but it turned out to be really great, and then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes I thought was like 10 times better than that one. So I definitely did have some hype going into this one. But from what I saw in the trailers, I wasn't really too convinced that this movie was going to be great, because I thought the last two films did a really good job at telling these small, contained stories about Caesar's character. Rise and Dawn both did that very well. And with War for the Planet of the Apes, this is where things can get a little bit overblown. So I was excited going in, but I had my reservations because I wasn't sold yet on the trailers. And War for the Planet of the Apes is my favorite movie of 2017 right now. This movie blew me away. This movie is a dark, brutal, emotional powerhouse of a movie, none of which I was expecting going in. Upon filming this review, I have seen the movie twice now, and I've really thought a lot about this, and honestly, I can't find a single thing I didn't like about this movie. It's slow-paced, but it never slows down. It's so dark and very bleak, but it doesn't come off like it's trying too hard to be those things. The motion capture work also is the best motion capture work has ever been. I mean, if you just watch this movie knowing that you're watching animated apes made by a bunch of guys in a studio, it's mind-blowing. The animation, the fur, the sweat, the attention to detail. It's unprecedented. This is some of the best visual effects I've ever seen. Let's talk about Andy Serkis, because in this film, he delivers another award-worthy performance as Caesar, and he's heartbreaking in this movie. From the opening scene of this film, you are drawn in to Andy Serkis' character, and you feel an emotional connection to him, because I genuinely did care about Caesar's relationship with his family, which is really important in this film. And I also think it's been great watching Caesar grow throughout these three movies. These movies have told Caesar's story so well. When you think about how we've seen him grow from being a little baby chimpanzee in the first movie to this hardened leader of all these apes in the last film, it's really mind-blowing how they put this story together. And I also think it's amazing that I feel an emotional connection to an ape. You know, like the fact that these movies work so well and that you feel that emotional connection to Caesar. One of my biggest problems with this series is that the human characters often aren't really that interesting at all, and you care a lot more about the apes. Like in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they always cut back to James Franco's character or Freida Pinto. And in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Jason Clarke is like the lead human character in that movie. And I didn't find him interesting at all, really. War for the Planet of the Apes is a completely different story, because in this film we get a much more intimate and focused story on Caesar and his group of apes. Woody Harrelson's pretty much the only human character that requires development in this movie, and I think they did his character really well. His performance is great, he's really terrifying, and there's this one exposition scene between him and Caesar that had me completely sold on his character. His motivations are completely clear and they totally make sense, and it really sold me on his character, and to me, those are the best kind of villains. Steve Zahn voices the character of Bad Ape in this movie, and he could have easily been like the Jar Jar Binks of this movie. And the only reason I say that is because he's kind of the comic relief character in this movie, and this film is very dark, so if there's just like one out-of-place joke from him, it could totally ruin the experience. And thankfully, that never happens. He's actually really funny in this movie, and they use him in little spurts throughout the film, and I thought it was just enough. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this movie from a technical standpoint. This movie looks beautiful. It has amazing cinematography. Matt Reeves once again delivers on that aspect. It's an incredibly well shot movie. It looks amazing. Also, a lot of the sets are real, which I really appreciated. This movie really feels like it was handled with care, and that they really wanted to deliver an experience that felt real. Also, over time, I feel like I've been able to think about this a lot more. The score by Michael Giacchino is amazing. And I know he's scoring like pretty much every movie now, but he did such a good job with this movie. It totally reminds me of like classic movie soundtracks like Indiana Jones and Star Wars. It's a really moving soundtrack, and I think it's another thing that gave this movie another step up from its predecessors. In the end, guys, War for the Planet of the Apes was an unbelievable experience for me. I was totally not expecting this movie to be as good as it was. It's a beautiful looking film, it has an amazing score, it has an incredible performance from Andy Serkis' Caesar. And now that I think about it, this is probably one of the best concluding chapters in a trilogy ever made. I was absolutely blown away by War for the Planet of the Apes, and of course it gets my highest grade of a 10 out of 10. I would definitely say this is the best movie of the year right now. Second for me would probably be like Baby Driver, then third would be Logan, and then on. But also, don't go into this movie expecting a war film or an action movie, because it's really not that. This is more of a drama. Even looking at some of the promotional art, like this poster, there's nothing in this entire movie that even resembles that kind of a scene happening. So just know that going in, don't expect an action movie, because this is a moving drama film. So guys, have you seen War for the Planet of the Apes? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I know that I'm really behind schedule with my movie reviews. I do have a couple more coming. There's going to be Dunkirk and then Atomic Blonde. I've just been really busy lately, but now I'm going to start having more time to make these videos, so you can look forward to those. Also, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.